Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Anime Mega Reviews, and today I'm going to be getting into a very controversial topic that has risen up after the conclusion of Blackclover chapter 276. And I have to say, it's definitely controversial because some people disagree with it, some people agree with it. However, the big topic revolves around Yuno's win over Zenon. Was it legit? Was it kind of rushed? And was it even earned? And that's kind of going to get into the characterizations that we see between Yuno and Asta. But anyway, guys, sit back and relax and enjoy the video. If you stayed past the intro, I thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. But let's get right into this video because it's very controversial. I saw so many fans just disagreeing with it on Reddit, and some people are kind of split. I would maybe say 70-30 on the whole entire thing. I think that most of the fan base actually likes it, while some of them actually don't. But let's get right into Zenon's defeat at the hands of Prince Yuno. Was it legit? For starters, I would definitely say from Zenon's perspective, he didn't take this fight too seriously at first because he just assumed that Yuno was dead, and all of a sudden Yuno and Langris kind of just show up. And this is kind of like the one main character flaw that you do see with the Dark Triad, is that because they're so used to being so dominant, they kind of underestimate people, and that's what he did with Yuno. Now, I would definitely say that at first when they did fight, he said to Yuno, that's not as though you're weak, it's just that I'm stronger. However, at the same time, Zenon didn't necessarily move at all during that fight. He kind of just stayed still and had his hands in his pocket. And yes, his powers are very extremely, I guess you could say, versatile. His bone magic is used for defense. It kind of reminds me a lot of Gar. Like, his character reminds me of Gar in terms of just the Sand's ability to shield Gar whenever he needed, and also having the ability to go on the offensive as well. So Zenon's bone magic is pretty versatile. However, definitely, I would have to say this. He learned how to fight just on the fly after his defeat. He took time to study his opponent. He took time to study Zenon's bone magic, and he was able to work with Bell to store up this mana to be able to essentially take this battery pack to this dimension that Zenon had put them in order for Yuno to be able to use his power effectively. Now, did Yuno know that Zenon was going to place him in this alternate dimension where mana would be very hard to just control? Of course not. That's something that Yuno didn't really account for. And yes, Langris did help him train, but at the same time, I don't think that we've actually seen another spatial magic user that could transport two other individuals or more into a whole nother dimension. Now, some may argue that maybe Fenrir might develop this ability soon, because I believe that Fenrir has some type of latent ability for arcane magic, because it seems like all the Black Bulls do. But I would definitely say that Yuno had two things working in his favor during this fight. The one thing is that he had experience. He had originally encountered Zenon, and Zenon did not finish off the fight. He partially killed Yuno, and if it wasn't for William, Yuno most likely would have died. However, at the same time, Yuno took time to study his opponent. It's the same thing in sports. If you are defeated by an opponent so many times, it is your responsibility to study that opponent until you can find out their strengths or weaknesses, and then come back harder next time so you are able to defeat them. This is universally common with all sports and martial arts and many other things in life. And also, Belle helped out tremendously. She is a elemental spirit, and she was able to store up mana for herself and Yuno for, I think, about 3 days. And that's the one thing that worked in Yuno's favor. Not even to mention that, yes, guys, he is nobility, and nobility is strong no matter what kingdom it is, whether or not it's Clover Kingdom, Heart Kingdom. Does Heart Kingdom actually have nobility? I don't know about that. Well, the Queen, but I don't think they have like royal families. But the Spade Kingdom is obviously going to have some royal families because of the Zagratis family and also Yuno's family, which had died previously 16 or 17 years ago. And I just assume that they're going to have a high amount of mana level. And also, Yuno is loved by mana. He is a prodigy. He is very talented. So all those things work in Yuno's favor to him being able to sort of like come on the surprise attack against Zenon. So I would definitely say if all those things work in Yuno's favor, then yes, he's going to surprise Zenon, because Zenon has no idea who Yuno is at all, which is kind of weird. You'll be thinking that Zenon has did his homework and say, hold up, who is this kid? But the Dark Triad, they seem to not really be that smart all the time. However, there are some things that some people may have disagreed with in this fight. For instance, why didn't Zenon take this fight extremely seriously just to begin with? He knows that they're trying to open up the portal. Why not just kill Yuno and Langris outright? Well, for one thing, guys, this is a manga series, and I don't think that really would have worked out in a very good way just for writing and plot convenience, because it just wouldn't really make any sense, because we want to see these fights dragged out. We just don't want to see our heroes get slaughtered. Otherwise, Asta would have died many chapters ago by Dante, which he technically did, but if it wasn't for Rouge, then But at the same time, we just have to recognize that Zenon, he does have a weakness, and that weakness is also his bone magic not necessarily being stronger than Yuno's wind magic. And at the same time, Zenon had underestimated his opponent. He should have at least went to a higher percentage to get the fight over with quickly, which it seemed like that's Zenon's personality, but he just, I don't know, guys, he just didn't seem to take this fight that seriously. And he was surprised at the end of the fight when Yuno was able to land a hit against our boy Zenon. Now, for the biggest question, do I think that this win was actually legit? Did I think this win was actually, hey, Yuki Tabata did some good writing here? I'm 50-50 on it. The reason why I say that is because it's just very hard to convince me personally that because Yuno trained for about 3 days and because Bell has stored up enough mana for 3 days that he was able to land a hit on 50% Devil Magic Zenon. I'm sorry, Devil Enhanced Zenon. It's very hard to believe. I'm not saying that Yuno is weak. I'm not even saying that he isn't strong. But at the same time, this is a Dark Triad Devil user that is being possessed by a high-ranking demon that we don't even know the name of. Why is it even necessary for him to go 80%? Because people keep saying that if Zenon goes 80%, the fight is over. Why in the world should he have to go 80%? 80% is the limit. It really is. And the only person or the only people that should be able to push them to the limit, the Dark Triad members, would be Asta because of his Devil Union mode. It should be Merla Leona because she's a very powerful captain. And it should be Yami and maybe Flugolion. But Yuno is just, it's hard for me to really buy that. Why should Yuno push Zenon to 80%, which is the limit? That is not necessary. And I really don't think that Zenon is going to go 80%. I probably would say maybe 60, around 60%. I think that's enough to handle Yuno. If he goes 80% against Yuno just to defeat him outright, I think that's an indication of maybe Zenon's power level is not as powerful as we thought. I know that I've even made some theory videos about Zenon being maybe more powerful than Dante, but after this fight, I'm not necessarily too sure about that. Now, Vonica did go 70% against Noelle and Laurel, but she's facing Laurel and Noelle. Laurel, her power is comparable to all of the Clover Kingdom captains combined together. She may be on the level of Julius, so it stands to reason why she would go 70%. And on top of that, Vonica has faced off with Acer Silva before, and Acer was extremely powerful during her time as well. But now that we've reached the end of the video, I would still say that I'm 50-50 on it. Again, I'm not just hating on Yuno, but it's just, this is the same running theme with his character, that because he's so talented, because he's basically blessed by mana, because he had these abilities basically before he was even born, almost, if you count like the reincarnation as well, a lot of things are handed to Yuno. Yuno doesn't seem to struggle in terms of training super hard to gain these abilities. And I know that this is going to be an on-running thing with his character. And I think this is basically Asta versus Yuno in terms of not them hating each other, but essentially Asta having the short end of the stick in every single category that we can just think of, versus Yuno, who has been blessed by mana. I think this is like the ongoing theme of the show, is that, yo, what do you get when you have talent versus hard work, when you have the short end of the stick versus someone having all the cards in life? And I know that Yuno didn't necessarily have the best childhood, but it's time that Yuno fans just be honest and say this: hey guys, like, look, it's almost like Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson if you're into football. Patrick Mahomes had so much stuff handed to him when he came to this Kansas City Chiefs, while Lamar Jackson, yes, the Baltimore Ravens are good, but it's not the same thing as the Kansas City Chiefs. You have something handed to somebody and something where, hey, it may take more time for this particular situation to work out in the way that they want it to be. But yeah, guys, that's just my opinion. you know, you can take it or leave it, like I said. But if you guys disagree with me, it's also cool as well. I don't hate Yuno as a character. I just wish there was more depth to him, and hopefully during this arc, we're going to see that. But if you guys love the video, make sure you give it a like, also subscribe, and comment down below. Tell me what you guys loved about this video or hated about the video. I'm open to both as long as it's respectful. But as always, make sure you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.